Hey guys, it's John. I'm here with Nick Hoffman from Nick's Wild Ride. And this is another episode of the Meatgistics podcast.
Here we go.
Very special episode.
Something like that.
So we've got Nick in town. Anytime he comes through Wichita, we try and grab him, bring him in here, make something with him. In the past, we've done what? We've done snack sticks and we've done regular sausage.
Yep.
Well, this time we took a whole just dinosaur-sized piece of meat and made Wagyu jerky.
Literally one of the coolest, like you said, hunks of meat I've ever seen. I mean, Wagyu has this aura around it, right? Like we've mystified it because it is obviously rare, very expensive, all those kinds of things. I've never, a couple of times in a restaurant, I've seen like slivers of it you put on a hot rock.
Yeah.
And they bring out this little hunk and you're like, they treat it like it's a piece of gold. You just brought out this 25-pound just chunk of Wagyu.
It was the biggest piece of Wagyu I've ever seen.
And it was incredible. I mean, like marbled to the hilt, and we just sliced it up and made jerky. It almost felt wrong, but also like so awesome.
It looked amazing though.
Yeah.
There were so many pieces we cut were just like perfect marbling throughout.
It was incredible. But it's like for you, this is like just another day in the life of John
that's
at
not
Walton's.
fair.
You know what I mean?
Okay, do we want to get into who gets to do special things? Mr. Go to Africa, go to...
Fine, whatever. But as far as meat goes, that's as good as it gets.
Yeah.
And it was so cool. It kind of felt dirty. Like I felt like I needed to go to confession afterward and confess my sins, because to take a hunk of meat like that and not just stake it out and put it on every slice we made, we could have seared.
I would agree with that.
In a cast iron skillet and just been amazing.
Right, like part of what we love about just like a regular ribeye, that spinalis, that top part of it, the cap, has such beautiful marbling throughout the meat. Most of this had that. Looked like, it would have been as tender? No, but it would have had that amazing flavor.
Yeah, incredible.
Now, if I'm eating a steak every day, Wagyu would not be my choice. Like, it's just too rich for me to eat like that much of it.
On a daily level, because that's too much fat.
Yes.
Yeah. But man, the flavor.
Every once in a while.
Incredible. So this jerky we're making is just, I can't wait. I literally, my mouth just got all salivaed up thinking about it. It's like going to be awesome.
So we're using the Walton's peppery au jus. We've come out with I think like 7 or 8 new Walton's branded seasonings, and that's one of them. And Patrick, am I way off here saying that's by far the best?
Oh yeah, it's such a unique flavor, buttery too. Like it really just everything you want about an awesome cut of meat. It's absolutely perfect. And you said umami flavor, right, to the gills? Yeah, so
it's going to be through the roof. We're going to open that, and it's going to have smoked it so perfectly. They're all going to look like mini little briskets. It's going to be awesome.
That's awesome.
I'm pumped up for this.
I'm bringing some home.
We'll get you some home. We'll get you some in a vac bag. You might get stopped by the dogs at the airport. They might come up to you.
Yeah.
And
then it's also going to put me in the doghouse at home, because we were talking about it earlier, but my wife has got that alpha gal thing. God. And so... And my wife is Irish. I mean, she's a Murphy. Like, she's the steak eatingest woman I've ever met.
Sure.
And for 3 years now, she hasn't had a hunk of red meat. And alpha gal, for those people that don't know at home, you guys have talked about it before, but it's a tick-borne disease, that illness that you get where it literally makes you allergic to red meat.
All right. So what happens to her? How do her symptoms?
So her
present?
symptoms, she had she was in a hotel in Chicago, and at night, middle of the night, she woke up and she had hives all over and started feeling her throat get scratchy.
Oh, so she went like anaphylactic.
It scared her enough that she threw on her pants and went down to the lobby so she could be around people. She's like, something is wrong, and she knew it.
Wow.
And she ended up in the emergency room, and I think they gave her an EpiPen, and now she carries around an EpiPen all the time.
Oh God.
And lucky for her, hers isn't as severe as some people's. Like, she can have cross-contamination. So like, she can have, if you're at a restaurant and they cook a piece of beef and then they cook a piece of chicken on it.
Some people, yeah.
She can have that.
Right.
Some people can't have that at all. A lot of people can't have dairy. Like, she can have dairy.
Okay.
So hers isn't as bad as the other ones. My ex-father-in-law is a vegetarian, and once a year though, he goes on a fishing trip with his college buddies.
Yeah.
And he for about a week he eats whatever they eat.
Okay.
So he had no idea that he had it because he's a vegetarian, and he the first night, or one of the first nights, they all ate a big steak.
Right.
And he almost died.
Whoa.
Like he went into like full on,
Closing down his
closing up.
airway.
Yeah.
Ay,
And
ay,
and
ay.
it was, so it's scary, and it's just hard to believe that that's even a thing. But anyway, my point is, I'm going to bring home this Wagyu jerky, and I'd be like, "Hi, honey," as I'm sitting there eating it in front of her. You know what I mean?
Sorry.
It's, I'm going to have to treat it like a contraband drug, and like
Not
I'm
showing
going
time.
to like just sneak it when she's not around.
But you did say her symptoms are slightly improving?
Yeah. So she's they're thinking it's been almost like 3 years now, and they think that within another year or so her markers are going down.
Okay.
She should be able to start eating meat again. And that is for most people it does go away, but what a crazy thing.
Oh,
And for somebody who loves red meat like we do,
Yep.
and like she does, that's a rough deal.
Does she know at all, like the tick bite that gave it to her? Or did she remember?
I think so.
pulling
Yeah.
one off?
It's a specific type of tick. It's the Lone Star
Yeah,
tick.
Lone Star,
So
yep.
and she remembers that, but it's really prevalent. I live in the Nashville area, and
Yep.
in Tennessee, it's a really prevalent
I
thing.
mean, Missouri as well. We
Mm-hmm.
were talking about this. Some restaurants have Alpha Gal Night where they will serve
Right.
an entire menu.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Now, we had researchers on from Kansas State about a year and a half ago, probably at this point, and they're doing a huge in-depth study on Alpha Gal. There were 4 of them, and a couple of things that they said that were like shocking to me is, one, it's actually the carbohydrate in the meat, which I didn't really realize there was.
Sure.
You tend to think of meat as no carbs, that your body's reacting to, and 2, there is a pig that they grow specifically for human like valve transplants.
Yeah.
People with alpha gal can eat that because they breed it without that that protein or without that.
So
carb.
they're figuring out
Right.
how to, yeah.
And then we talked about quickly, like there is a treatment out there that is gaining some popularity, and one of the steps is literal needles in your ear, like
Sure. Acupuncture.
acupuncture needles in your ear. Just crazy the lengths people are going to help this disease.
Well, we went deep right off the bat there.
Did
didn't
you?
we? No, I'm saying we just went deep right off the
Oh
bat
yeah,
here.
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, you want to go deeper? I don't think it's a natural thing.
Very possible.
Like I'm a big believer. Like Lyme's disease just happened to show up in the same county with the tick and bloodborne disease military research base. That seems odd, doesn't it?
Conspiracy theory, John.
That one's a deep one, but
Let's put on the foil hats.
I'm full
Here we
on
go.
that one, man.
Yeah.
Full on that
That's
one.
You're like a
crazy.
wannabe journalist in a TV show that's trying to break the case wide
Just
open.
not quite smart enough to put anything together.
Yeah.
I've got all the pieces. I just don't know how to
And
do it
meanwhile,
together.
all these people at home are like, who's this guy? Like, who is this dude just started going into talking about alpha gal and all this stuff? Who is this
All right,
guy?
so let's talk about Nick's Wild Ride. What season are we in?
Oh, the TV show, we just finished the 10th season.
Oh, there you go.
So
Double
we're
digits.
we're already halfway through filming the 11th season, which is crazy. And for people that are listening that aren't familiar, I have a show called Nick's Wild Ride that's on the Outdoor Channel, and it's a hunting adventure show where I do the basis of it is I go somewhere to hunt
Right.
all around the world, and but it's about so much more than hunting. I always say that hunting is about so much more than killing. For me, it's about the food, the culture, the history, the people of the area that I'm hunting.
Yeah.
And I've always been that guy. And I'm a country music artist first and foremost. And all my years of touring on the road, every city we went to, I was always that guy that wanted to find where's the best burger. Is there a little museum? Or I was the guy that if there was the national, coat button museum,
You wanted to go to
I
that.
wanted to go check it out because why not? The quilt. Isn't there a quilt museum somewhere right around here? There's, and so it was a natural thing for me when somebody suggested that maybe we produce a TV show, follow me around doing these hunts that I was going to do anyway,
Right.
and that I was gonna. All it is following me around doing what I would be doing anyway. It's on a truly authentic thing. It's like an Anthony Bourdain style hunting show.
No reservations.
Yeah, very much.
I mean,
so.
that's when you
parts
watch it. That's what
parts
you get.
unknown for me is like the one of the great shows of all time.
Absolutely is.
and it's very much it's kind of a little more irreverent, kind of tongue in cheek, lighthearted version of that with hunting.
Yeah.
You know, and what a blessing to the idea, like I said, I'm a country music artist. The idea that I'd be somehow 11 seasons now into a television show that has nothing to do with music for the most part.
Right.
I'd have laughed in your face 11 years ago. I'd have mortgaged my house against it. Let's put it all on black. You know what I mean? No way. And I just never imagined that. So what a blessing, man. I mean, I literally get to do what I love for a living. I mean, I play music and I get to go run around the world and hunt and eat food and meet people and drink beer and
then share that with everybody.
Share it with everybody. And I think that's my favorite part about it is that after 10 years, the amount of comments that I've gotten about people saying, you know, everything from I started hunting because of your show, or some people say I don't hunt, but it's changed my perception of what hunting is, to I've been a hunter my whole life, but I only hunted whitetails and now I want to go to Spain.
Yeah. Well,
you know,
okay. So that Spain one, it's the IVAX, right?
Yeah.
There's no, you never say never. There's a very, very slim chance that I will ever get the chance to do a hunt like that hunt. Mm-hmm. Getting to watch your episode of it because you focus, it's almost like a culture show with a hunting aspect, right?
Absolutely.
You get a better feel of like almost being there with you because you see your interactions with all the people that you would have interactions with. There's so many hunting shows that are just about the actual hunt, the shot, and a little bit after that. Yours is broader, so it tends to give you more of like a complete feeling of what the adventure was about.
Absolutely. And I think that that's the best way you could describe it. It's a compliment because one of the reasons that we ended up doing the show was because over some beers one night at a trade show, I was sitting with a really well-known outdoor producer, and we were kind of bitching about outdoor TV. Like it's, you know, a lot of it's really poorly produced. A lot of it doesn't represent hunters very well.
Sure.
And a lot of it's just whisper, point and shoot. And there's so much more to the hunting lifestyle and to hunting in general that it's about, they focus so much on that kill, that shot. They're not showing the stuff, the days, weeks and months and hours of preparation ahead of that.
Yep.
And all the things and the people in camp and all the things, they're not showing that. And then they're also not showing the backside of it, which is what do you do with that animal when it's done? How does that animal factor into the culture of the area? How people hunt deer and what they do with their deer here in Kansas is different in a lot of ways than traditionally what they do with them in Wisconsin.
Yep.
And I find that fascinating. I am fascinated by why do you have slightly different traditions here than you do in Wisconsin. For me, that's what makes my brain tick, and that's what the show's all about. And the biggest compliment I get is when somebody says, I'm not a hunter, but I watch your show.
Yeah.
Or a lot of wives, I'll get messages from wives that say, you know, your show is the only one that I'll watch with only hunting show I'll watch with my husband. Or my kids, we all sit down as a family on Friday nights and watch Nick's Wild Ride. Like, man, that's cool.
Yeah, it's got to feel
good.
It
feels great because, you know, you're doing something, you know, just like anything, when you're in the little vacuum, your own little microcosm, and you're working hard and you're out there doing this stuff and you put it out to the world, you always wonder, does anybody care? You know what I mean? And the truth is it's really, really fun for me when people let me know that they do.
Yeah,
you know?
it validates some of the hard work you've put into it.
Sure, and it is a lot of hard work. It's a grind, but any job is a grind.
Yep.
You know, and I don't take for granted for one single second how cool my life is. I mean, like, I'm so filled with gratitude nowadays that I can't even, it sounds so cheesy to say, but it's so true. I mean, God, I have worked. I mean, I grew up on a small farm in a farming community.
Right.
I have done hard work. I know what hard work is. I'm not afraid of it, but I'm here to tell you what I'm doing is not freaking hard work. It's work, but it ain't hard work. And anytime I want to bitch about, you know, being tired or being overwhelmed or I just remind myself that I could be roofing for a living, which I have done. And I have a lot of respect for the people that do that on a daily basis. Yep. I hope I never have to do that again.
I used to slug kegs around upstate New York and listen.
Like Donkey Kong?
Yeah, but exactly. Like well, you say that, but we had to fill up racks that were like 4 kegs high by hand. So you're lifting that full keg up and getting it in. So, I mean, there is a lot of...
Dude, did you do that all day, every day?
Not all day, every day,
but it's
a
lot.
It was a portion of it. And there were good parts of that job. There are amazing parts of... Listen, you could be a beer tester. You're going to have bad days.
Absolutely.
But the ability that we get, people, I mean, to lesser degree us, but you, to get that interaction back from an audience member to let you know that something you did had the either just a positive effect or even better, like the intended effect, it's awesome.
It is. And, you know, you talked about it earlier about how, you know, people get to live, you said you get to live vicariously a little bit through some of these trips I take. Sure. What you're doing here, I mean, us getting to make jerky with a huge hunk of Wagyu that I don't know how much that would have cost for somebody to go buy. It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And people get to live vicariously through that, you know, and what a neat thing and what a blessing. And, you know, we can quit getting all maudlin about it, but it's true. I feel really, really grateful that I get to do it. And if you haven't, for you, all y'all that are listening, if you hunt, and even if you don't, I encourage you to check it out because it's a lot of fun, and I have a lot of fun.
It is. You know? If that comes through on your episode, specifically the one down in, was it Mexico? You were doing Mexico. You drank something. What was it? You drank something you like said you normally wouldn't have drank.
Well, that happens a lot.
Okay.
Like the first one that comes to mind is in Kyrgyzstan. I went to Kyrgyzstan on a ibex and Marco Polo sheep hunt, and I spent some time with these nomadic shepherds that live in like a wool yurt, you know, like
yeah.
And they have nothing. These people have nothing. I mean, they're living the most Spartan of lifestyles. But when we showed up, what little they had, they shared with us, right. You know, and the hospitality was incredible. And they brought out this drink called kumis, which is a fermented horse milk.
Oh, good Lord.
And it's alcoholic because it has some alcohol in it because of the fermentation. And they bring this stuff out and they're like, this is kumis and it's this delicacy and all this stuff. It is the most horrible taste and shit I've ever tasted in my life. And I'm talking about like just, and you can see it on camera when I drink it. I go, yeah, thank you. And I mean, like, I'm saying to myself, don't throw up, don't throw up, don't throw up, don't. It's the most. And then they gave me this cheese that was from like yak milk. It was horrible. Oh God, it was so horrible. But that's the spice of and that, because I do love a good drink and I love the culture around what they drink in Kansas is sometimes a little bit different than what they drink in Wisconsin, sure. Right? And I'm fascinated by that. I'm fascinated by the culture around it. And one thing that is universal around the world that I've found is the celebration usually centers around a glass of wine or a beer or a specific type of liqueur that is only found in that area. Like, I love that.
Yeah.
I love the history of it. I love the experience of it. And, you know, if anybody who knows me knows I'm not afraid of a stiff drink. So I really like that part of it a lot. You know, so yeah, definitely probably drank something down in Mexico that I probably wouldn't have normally drank.
It was definitely not that one because you were at almost like a resort. When you were drinking this, you were at an outdoor bar.
Recently, I went to Puerto Rico to explore the origins of the pina colada.
Okay.
And I went to there's 2 places in San Juan, in Puerto Rico that claim to have invented the pina colada. And so I went and, you know, got
interviewed
into the history.
Both?
Yeah, I got into the history of both. And of course, you know, tried a couple of them. And with some movie magic too, usually you have to repeat things a little bit every once in a while. So, you know, I get to do 2 here, 3 there, you know. It's good. Life is good.
Go
ahead and throw a little extra rum in there if you want.
Multiple days, or was this all?
Oh no, go for it.
One day.
Yeah.
Ooh,
what would Bourdain do?
Well,
he would do it all in one day.
Yeah,
man.
but we don't always want to do the what would Bourdain do. Sometimes we want to go, okay, don't make that decision.
I kind of do. I want to do most of what Bourdain do, minus the suicide.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Terrible end to an amazing life.
Unbelievable.
A couple of the things. One, my however many year long fascination, and I'm sure people are sick of me talking about this, but the number of times they bring up how good mountain lion is.
Oh yeah.
And then someone will always ask me, how did you hear about that? I'm like, funny story. We were talking to Nick from Nick's Wild Ride, and he told us that it was like one of his favorite meats, period, not just wild game. And we thought, we still thought you were joking with us. Like, we thought you were like, oh yeah, well, you should try it. And then we heard it from somebody else. I'm like, okay, maybe. And somebody sent us some. And good Lord, is that stuff amazing.
I'm really excited. In about a month, I'm headed to Arizona on a mountain lion hunt.
Really?
And I haven't had any mountain lion in my freezer in pushing 10 years.
Okay.
And I'm so excited about it.
Do you know how much meat you usually walk away with if you get a big tom?
Well, I got really lucky that the tom that I shot in Montana the last time I did it was literally one of the biggest cats ever shot.
Really?
Yeah, it was like, skull wise, SCI was top 10 all time.
Wow.
And so it was a
Can we hear about that one?
Yeah, absolutely. He was skinny on top of that because he had been chasing, the houndsman figured out that he had been chasing a female for at least a week, if not more, with trying to kill her kittens to bring her back into season.
Put her back in.
And so he hadn't eaten in a while, and he was skinny, and he was over 200 pounds skinny.
Oh my God.
He was huge. So I got a lot of meat off of him. I mean, I would say that I bet you I got 50 pounds of meat off of him. Okay. For a cat like that, it might have been more than that. I'm not sure, but so I would think you can get 30 to 40 pounds of usable meat. Okay. But for the most part, you're just like most animals. You get the loin, the backstrap loin, which is literally like it looks like pork. Lean pork. Mm-hmm. It has it's pink. It looks like it even has a flavor to me like a pork chop.
I thought it was a slightly sweeter and more tender.
Yeah, I would agree. So you get the loins and then the rest of it you grind up, right? And that's what we did anyway. So I had a processor take care of it out there, and I shipped it home to me. And he made a breakfast sausage for me with it, and then I did what he suggested. Right. I took the loins and then we did breakfast sausage for the rest of the grind. And man, I loved it.
Awesome.
I think he added a little bit of pork fat to it.
I think you would have to.
I think for the sausage, but I'm not sure. But this time I'm gonna bring it all home. I'm gonna do it myself this time. Right. And I'm really excited about that. So
that's phenomenal. Yeah. And I'm sorry, you said it was Nevada or Arizona?
Montana. And now the next one's gonna be Arizona.
Okay. The one in Montana, you said houndsman, so you used...
Yep, you pretty much have to use a hounds. Yeah. So the difference between that one and this one most likely is the Arizona one is a dry ground hunt, meaning like desert dirt. Mm-hmm. Typically speaking, mountain lions are hunted with hounds in the snow, and they're looking for a fresh, just dusting of snow the night before so they can find fresh tracks. Okay. And then you set the dogs off on those tracks. In Arizona... typically speaking, not a lot of snow, depending on where you're at. And so, it's a dry ground hunt, they call it, and that can be its own set of challenges. So I'm really looking forward to experiencing that. That's awesome. As well. The houndsman thing, people are quick to judge using dogs for things. And I find it fascinating because it's the history of houndsmen and the culture behind houndsmen. Man, it's pretty hard to knock that kind of hunting when you really get to appreciate how much culture there is around that. Right. There's such a finite amount of actual houndsmen that actually get out and do it. Like you're talking there's probably just a few thousand people in the country that do it on a high level. Right. And it's really neat to watch a great houndsman work. And what a cool thing to see a mountain lion up close in a tree or in a cave or whatever. It's so cool.
No, not only but also when you're treeing the cat, that's when you're sexing it too.
Absolutely.
Right. So
you're selective. That is one way that you're hunting selectively, very much so. You're you're trying to take mature toms. That's it. And I've only done it a few times. It's not something that I have any interest in doing every year. Right. It's actually oftentimes a very physical hunt. Yeah. You're chasing, you let the dogs go and you go until you get them back, and
they're not stopping
in the mountains and everything. It's a lot of crazy stuff, but yeah, anyway, I'm excited to have some mountain lion meat. Yeah. Maybe we'll come here and do something.
That'd be dude, that would be absolutely incredible. One of the things Arizona that we've been following pretty closely are they've got jaguars moving back in. Have you followed that at all?
Not a ton, but I know what you're talking about. Yeah. That's crazy.
They're saying they have a resident population now. They're no longer just coming back and forth from Mexico. Man, I would not want to run into one of those things in the wild.
I mean, any cat, if you've ever held in your hands the paw of a mountain lion or you know, touched the lifted up the lips and looked at those teeth. Same thing in Africa with a leopard. You know, it's basically the same thing, just different color. And you can picture they are killing machines, right? You know, I've seen videos of them taking down horses and stuff like that. It's insane. And it's just that they are literally the ultimate predator. And I have tons of respect for them, and I don't want to screw with them. I try hard not to think about how many mountain lions have been within 10 yards of me
without me
knowing it in the mountains. It's been, I bet it's been way more than I think.
Yeah.
And there have been a couple times where I've actually stumbled onto them, you know, where we've seen them. The horses often, like if you're with horses, they'll tell you.
They know.
And it's scary, you know. Or what's even scarier is when the horses know something's there, but you can't see it. You don't know where they're at.
Yeah.
Might be at night. You know, I've been in Africa and woke up with lion tracks around my tent. No. You know, stuff like that. And it's like those things were there and you had no idea.
Oh, that is creepy.
Yeah. The only reason you're not dead is because it chose not to kill you.
Right. Yep. And that's it.
That's it.
It either didn't know what you were or knew what you were and was like, not worth it.
Not worth it.
Yep. That's the only reason.
Yep.
Have you ever had any run-ins with any grizzlies?
Absolutely.
What was that like?
You know, it's scary as hell. It's like there's been a couple moments where it's like, oh my God, this is actually happening. I'm turning into a Field and Stream article.
How far away?
I've had them charge in Alaska. I've been charged by grizzlies about 20 yards away or so. Like literally they stopped around 20 yards.
Yeah.
I've been much closer than that to grizzlies when we've been hunting them.
Okay.
But not in an aggressive stance. Luckily, I've never been fully charged closer than that. I can tell you that the one time I'm talking about that I would just mention where the thing was running at us, had cubs with it, and it was running at us. Very scary, bad situation. And, you know, safety off on the gun. And I picked a mark and I was like, if it gets past that and that thing stopped like right at the mark.
Oh,
you know, it gives me goosebumps thinking about it.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And that's bears and mountain lions, man. It's I don't like to screw with them. You know, I don't want anything to do with them. But man, do I respect them.
Oh yeah,
and I love them, and I think they're beautiful, and I just. But I've experienced enough of it that I respect them both as predators and animals on their own. But I respect them like I want nothing to do with them.
Oh. For sure. I mean, they're
like the big guy in the bar. You're like, that guy kicks people's asses. Stay away from him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They, not only are they apex predators, but there's something with apex predators, and I suspect it goes all the way back to early human times. As soon as you see it, you know it's something different, and something activates in your mind that just is instant. Like for me, at least, fascination.
Absolutely.
Like anything that can eat me, I am absolutely fascinated by. On this continent, it is grizzly bears, mountain lions, and then on the coast, sharks. Yep, obviously. You didn't hear about what happened with the lady the other day? Mm-mm. Off the California coast, she's swimming with a bunch of her swim group. Some guy was stopped at a stop sign, 100 yards offshore. He calls 911. Was like, I just saw a great white come out of the water with a lady in its mouth, and then went down. And they didn't find her for days. They found part of her body, but like they think it was just a territorial thing because it was swimming like up and down the beach with her and just let her go at some point. She was dead. I mean, obviously by that point, but man, those things are just.
I've had a couple scary run-ins with sharks.
Really?
Yeah, because I don't do it as much as I used to. I'd like to be doing it more, but I used to spearfish quite a bit.
Okay.
And one time I shot about a 40-pound amberjack, huge amberjack off a reef outside of Panama City Beach.
Okay.
And I was coming up with this amberjack, you know, and it's big and it's bleeding, He was dead.
Is it still twitching at all?
Yeah, a little bit. It's doing that thing, and
Yep.
it's but it's it got his blood coming out of the hole, and all of a sudden this bull shark comes out of nowhere, and all I've got is an unloaded spear gun, and I got a free shaft, know, and that was actually in the fish, so I pulled this shaft out, and I've got this shaft just holding it, and this shaft is only, I don't know, 2.5 feet, 3 feet long.
Yep.
And I'm holding this thing, and this thing got close enough. I poked it in the nose with the spear, and I mean, you can imagine I am losing my mind.
For sure.
I mean, so scared.
And are you just scuba, or are you scubaing, or are you just snorkeling?
I've done both free diving but in this case we were scuba diving.
Okay.
We were going down deep on a reef, and so then you have a 5-minute safety stop on the way up. So you're sitting at 15 feet for 5 minutes, and you can't go up because then you can get sick maybe, so I'm sitting there like literally a fish in the water, just sitting there, and the number one rule of that is you don't give your fish up, because if you give your fish up, it can start a feeding frenzy, and that's you might accidentally lose a leg that way, because then they're just sitting there grabbing stuff. So a shark especially, they don't, if they get injured in the wild, they're probably going to die, right? Like their number one thing is preservation. Yep. Like they don't want to get hurt. They want the easiest meal possible. So he comes up to me, he's checking me out. Is that an easy meal? And I just pop him in the nose with a spear, and he'd go away, and then he'd come back.
Oh no, it's the coming back
and then
part.
Pop him in and you're like, is
How many
this
times this happened?
2 or 3.
Oh,
and then on top of that, and that's him. He'd go away for 30 seconds or whatever, and then he'd just barely get out where you couldn't see him again. And then you're like, is he going to come up behind me?
I can't do that.
I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it, man.
I can't do that.
And it honestly, it was enough for me to think about like why. And this is before I had kids. Like now that I've got kids at home and stuff like that, I'm sitting here going, I'm like, why am I doing this?
Right.
This is stupid.
Yep.
But the truth is that if you use your mind and take your irrational fears out of it, the chances of that thing actually hurting you are very, very slim. All it's doing is looking for a free meal.
Right.
And it's no different than your dog putting its nose up on the.
Oh no, it's very different.
Being like,
different.
Can I eat this and get away with it? And so a couple times a spear in the nose. It's it's a good story to tell in a bar now. But I got to be honest, I don't know if I've ever been more scared in my life is in that moment. Same thing with the grizzly. I've been charged by elephants. I now that I think about it, I've kind of put myself in some stupid scenarios.
Bad situations.
When I talk about it like that.
Yeah, I've heard the elephant story before. Awesome story.
Yeah.
There was one story, and we never really got into it, and I could be misremembering. But didn't you tell me once that you spent like some ungodly number of hours in a village in Africa or near a village in Africa waiting to kill? It was either one hippopotamus or one crocodile?
A hippo.
It was a hippo.
Yeah.
Can we talk about that?
Sure, absolutely. Yeah. In fact, you want to talk about good meat. Man, hippo meat, as good as it gets. So good. And it's so surprising. You would never expect that. And that was my first trip to Africa.
Okay.
Which was a really life-changing experience for me. And the whole trip was kind of centered around own use tags, which is different than what we would call a trophy tag. A trophy tag is something where oftentimes the meat is still donated, but the skull and the horns or whatever the animal is, you can bring home.
Okay.
An own use tag is issued to a tribe, typically speaking, to feed the village. Might be for they might issue an own use tag if the village needs like say a Cape Buffalo for a celebration. They need a bunch of meat for a celebration, something like that. And what they don't have the means or the knowledge to hunt these dangerous animals, and so they employ and the local hunters and the professional hunters to take care of that for them. And it's a great system where we're talking about sustainable use, sustainably harvested animals that are every ounce, every bone, every piece of skin, they take a huge animal and turn it into a blood spot on the ground.
Right.
And everything goes to use. So In this case, I digress. I was on this hunt where we were doing mostly own use tags, where we were I was getting the experience of all the hunting, but I wasn't worried about bringing trophies home. I was just, experiencing it all and then bringing all the meat to the villages. It was really magical. So there was a big bull hippo in an area that had been, had really, I don't want to tell a lie. So I'm pretty sure it had killed some people.
Okay.
If not, I know it had definitely injured. It had injured a lot of people, and it was harassing farmers. And more, I think I'm correct when I say that more people are killed by hippos every year than any other animal in Africa, and they're just cantankerous. And
good word for them.
And so we went to this area and we spent 2 days stalking this hippo, and he lived in a certain area in the river, but you couldn't safely get within a certain kind of proximity of them without them either bolting or going away or being aggressive.
Coming at you,
yeah. And so we finally got in a position where one day where we kind of snuck in, we were close to the water, and then we kind of got pinned down. They knew we were there, but they couldn't find us and they couldn't see us, and we had the wind in our face, but they knew something was wrong, and they were looking around. We ended up finally taking this hippo, and suddenly it was like out of nowhere, 12 dudes just materialized. And it was, the villagers had been keeping their distance, but waiting for it to happen.
Yeah.
And they just all showed up, and it was, they wanted to help because the meat was for the village,
right,
but they wanted first whack at the best pieces of meat. You know what I mean?
That makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've got this great photo of all of us pushing it out of the water, and like 12 of us rolling this, I don't know, 2,500, 3,000 pound animal and out of the water. And it was, everybody has this grimace on their face because they're pushing everything they can. And I remember we couldn't get it out of off the bank. We ended up having to put a rope around with the land and attach it to the hitch of the Land Cruiser, and 12 guys and a Land Cruiser to get it out. Yeah. And then within about 30 minutes, 12 guys with the most homemade knives that were made out of, plowshares and stuff like that, took that thing down to nothing.
Yeah.
And then the next day, maybe I'll give you some pictures. You can throw this over if you want to see it. And the next day they took all that meat and all that skin and they just put it in like a little community building, just blood all over the floor. They didn't care. And they handed out pieces of meat. People walked for 10, 20 miles to get one 5-pound, 7-pound hunk of meat.
That's fine.
And it was, in some cases, the only meat they're going to get for the next 2 or 3 months.
Yeah. I mean, you'll do what you have to do.
Yep.
To get
And
proteins.
it was incredible. And these people were walking, like I said, all day to get a small hunk of meat to bring home and stew up.
All right, what was the taste like?
So the taste it's like an oily, really, really dark red, dark red, oily kind of meat. Oily it's the only way I can really describe it. And I think it was lean to me as I remember it. And I ate it both as a steak, and then they made schnitzel that night. They made hippo schnitzel.
Yeah.
It was really, really good.
Okay.
And it was like I said, a rich, oily kind of meat, but surprisingly just not gamey, not just good,
Okay.
I mean, think about it. It's a kind of, I guess, they're like giant pigs, they're like a big, huge pig for the most part,
Okay.
So I think it had that, it wasn't gamey. It wasn't like a ungulate, like an antelope or anything like that. You think of game meat as being gamey. It was much more like a beef or a pork in its lack of gaminess, if you will, than that.
I never ever would have guessed that.
Mm-hmm. Another one that's really good is zebra. Like zebra, and I'm a horse guy.
Have you ever eaten horse?
Absolutely.
Okay, I've heard horse
in
really
Kyrgyzstan.
good.
I've eaten horse.
Okay,
and that's a really, I mean, I know it sounds crazy to think about, because I own horses and I love horses.
Yep.
And I will admit that it felt weird and against my you know, my conscience, I guess, in a way. But like a lot of, isn't like there's more horse consumed in than other kinds of meat in other parts of the world.
Yeah.
So like, you know, it's a standard fare, and I found it very, very tasty. If I could take my I love horses hat off, I thought horse was awesome. You know what I mean? They serve it in restaurants in over there.
In
you know?
France, they have a specific sign on restaurants that you can only hang if you employ a chef who went to a specific school, and that's the only way you're allowed to serve horse meat. And that's like an incredibly valuable thing for restaurants.
It's a delicacy, absolutely.
They love it.
And the reason it's a delicacy is because it's good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really tasty. I think that's one of my favorite. I think what we're getting at here is that, you know, obviously I've had some adventures in harvesting some of these animals, but one of the great joys of my life and doing this TV show has been getting to taste all these crazy, strange things. I mean, I think you and I may have talked about it before, but one of the most interesting meals I've ever had was a potluck type of situation where everybody brought a dish in a little Inuit village in Alaska, and up there, their main protein is salmon, caribou, whale, and seal.
Right.
Though that's like, those are the staples, and they harvest enough of it and they prepare it in a way that they can get through the whole winter. Right. Okay. So they preserve it in ways, and they can it and they boil it and they do all these different things. And in the different preparations of all those types of meats, and getting to taste whale, getting to taste seal blubber, they have a thing, it was in a jar and it was pickled seal intestine. And it was pickled in seal oil.
Okay.
And I personally didn't find it very appetizing.
Sure.
But they looked at me like, isn't it good?
Don't you love that?
Isn't it great? Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, just like the kumis, like the fermented horse milk. I'm like, yeah, it's great. You can go on my Instagram. There's a video of me eating that stuff on there, and it's like, and what a cool thing to experience. And also, I think it's important to remember that we as Americans, especially, we are steak, pork, chicken, and potato people
for the most people,
you know, and I guess, you know, Western Europe is kind of like that, France, Britain, stuff like that. But as soon as you get out of that kind of Atlantic circle, you know what I mean? Like, the rest of the world eats stuff that we consider to be exotic and crazy, but we're kind of in the minority when it comes to eating a lot of beef. A lot of, like, it's more and more prevalent all the time, but you know, there's a lot of the world that doesn't eat stuff like that. And I find it fascinating to eat what they eat and try it. And I've been surprised a few times, and I've also been completely disgusted a few times. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and I love it.
Was that pickled seal intestine one of the worst things?
Yeah, it was terrible.
Was it the worst?
I think, you know what, honestly, I can disassociate my head a little bit.
Okay.
You know, like, this is but the seal intestine, like I even say in the video on Instagram, I eat it and I go, it's hard for me to, there used to be poop in there. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard for me to like, no matter. And the one lady you can hear in the background say, well, you know, we soak it in this stuff. And I'm like, I don't give a shit. Literally don't give a shit. You know what I mean? Like, so I find that stuff, you know, muktuk is it's whale blubber with a little piece of meat underneath it.
Okay.
And it's cut kind of in like a mushroom shape. It was wonderful. Like butter, you know? And of course I'm, you know, look, I know it's culturally significant and all, but I'm no big advocate for running out and killing a whale.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Nor will I ever do that.
Right.
But what a cool experience to get to live a part of their culture for a second and to eat it and to try it. You know, as a guy who loves to harvest his own meat and cut it up and process it and know where your meat comes from, what a neat thing to see how they do it. see how the Kyrgyz people do it, to see how the Africans do it. And of course, in Africa, what they do in this part of Africa is completely different than what they do over here.
Many different cultures.
And so it's like, I love it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. A lot of fun.
You've never done the, I don't even know the name of it, the shark that they bury in Iceland?
No, but I've done something similar in that Alaskan Inuit community.
Okay.
They have a thing they call black meat. Black meat, they call it. And they take, I believe it's seal. They take a piece of seal and they bury it on the beach. And then they go, I think they may salt it. I'm not sure. I can't remember. But it's literally just meat that is rotted under the ground, which is similar to what you're talking about with the shark, right?
Yeah.
And it comes up and it's black and it smells exactly like you think it would smell. And then they dip it in seal oil and eat it. And it's like a jerky almost.
Okay.
And it's horrible.
That sounds
And then the
disgusting.
other thing about that is that in some of these places, especially the Alaskan thing, they kind of warned me too. They're like, you're going to get the shits. You know what I mean? Like, you're gonna, this will probably impact your stomach because there's biome in that they're used to.
You're
that
not used
I am
to
not
that.
used to.
Yep.
And they were right. Let's just, we can leave it right there. They were right. Yeah.
There's never been anything you've turned down?
No, because you know what, dude, I've recently written a book that is hopefully will be published in the next year or so, called The Deathbed Mentality, and it is kind of based around my life's mantra, which is make decisions based on how you're going to feel about them on your deathbed. Because it's amazing how quickly you can sort through things if you think about it in those terms. It's about minimizing regret and making decisions based on the most wholesome of things. Like, is this a good decision? Is it right? Is it going to hurt anyone? And how will I feel about this when my time is over and I'm looking back at it? I'm never going to regret trying some kind of crazy food, even if it sounds disgusting at the time.
Right.
But there's a good possibility that someday on my deathbed, I might look back and go, you know what? I should just, I'll never get that opportunity again. I need to suck it up and do it. You know what I mean? And I try to live by that mantra. Who knows if I'm ever going to be in a literally an Inuit village that you can only get to by boat or airplane.
Yeah.
With locals offering me their delicacies, their precious food, or ever again. So I might as well go ahead and eat the food, like Bourdain used to say. Drink the beer, eat the food, kiss the girl.
Yep.
Go
for it.
And because you just never know. And so, no, I don't think I've ever turned anything down that I can think of, but I can tell you that there have definitely been a few things I've regretted. Yeah.
That black meat being one of them.
Yeah. I'm glad I did it and never need to do it again.
Sure.
Yeah.
I totally understand.
Like if I went back there again, as long as I wasn't going to offend someone, I'd be like, I tried that. Thanks.
I've done it once.
Yeah,
don't need to do it again.
I'm good. Hey, let me tell you. When I ate the black meat, when I ate the pickled seal intestine thing, the lady was like excited. Like, isn't that good?
Yeah.
When I eat the black meat, they're all like, look, he's doing the thing. It's like, what's that test they do where they open that type of cheese in the on Instagram? Have you seen that?
No.
It's some sort of French cheese that smells so horrible that it makes you gag.
Oh God.
And they have a test. They get 4 guys or whatever together, and they open the cheese in the car, and nobody can leave.
Oh.
The first guy to leave or whatever loses. And they're all in there going.
No problem. I walk right out of that car. So what we know you from obviously is the hunting, but there's a whole nother side to your career, and that's the country music stuff.
Sure.
So what do you have coming up in regards to that?
Man, there has been way too long of a hiatus musically for me. I mean, I'm always out there playing gigs and doing shows and various things, and I'm always making music. I produce in the studio. I've been doing more behind the scenes than I have been on stage lately. I'm producing several artists that are fantastic. But I've got a brand new solo album in the can that is going to be coming out early this year in 2026. So I'm really excited about that. And I've been lucky. I've had the kind of music career that most people would only dream of, and And then this hunting show thing kind of just took on a life of its own, and it's taken a little bit of priority in my life, and that's been okay, because honestly, I was at a point in my music career where I'd done almost everything that I'd kind of set out to do, and I was a little burnt out, if I'm honest.
Sure.
So pouring my creative energy into this television production and these travels and this stuff was a welcome distraction from that. But and my heart and soul, I'm two things. I'm a outdoorsman and I'm a musician and a singer and a songwriter. And so I've neglected that part of my life a lot. And 2026 is the year that I do a lot more of that.
You're going to get back to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's interesting that the thing that you turn to almost as a way to get away from some of the burnout is an incredibly intense experience as well.
Yeah, my wife would probably tell you I'm probably a pretty intense dude. You know what I mean? Like I don't tend to do things half-ass first off. Like any hobby, it might be like, say I started collecting stamps tomorrow. I'm going to turn into a pretty avid stamp collector. You know what I mean? Like I tend to research things to death. I really get passionate about stuff and dive headlong and go all in.
So not someone who likes a ton of downtime.
No, I love downtime.
Right.
But I don't do well with it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like I love the idea of sitting on the beach.
Chewing the walls in a couple of days though.
100%.
Yeah.
And it's a curse, because there is a big part of me that likes to unplug and likes to unwind like that. But I have a bucket list that is so long that one of my biggest, I have like bad dreams about dying without checking all my bucket list things off. And I know that that's a stupid way to look at it, because nobody's ever going to do everything they want to do, But man, I can tell you, I am going to turn this body in fully used with an empty tank.
There you go. That's a great way to look at it.
You know what I mean? And I am, that's part of the reason that I've written the book I've written, is like, I do look at things like in terms of, I better do it while I have the chance, because I'm surrounded by friends and colleagues that I respect a lot that are now, I'm watching their bodies fail and they can't do what they used to do.
Right.
And you hear from those guys, they're like, man, do it now. Do it while you can, because you don't know when it's going to be, when it's one day you're going to wake up and can't do it anymore. Or, I'm old enough now. I've lost lots of friends, some of them from old age and some of them suddenly, and things that weren't expected. And I want to, like I said, what's the old Fair and Young country singer song? I want to live fast, die hard, and leave a beautiful memory.
There you go.
You know? And I think I'd like to live fast, die old, and leave a beautiful memory. I don't want to die young, but I want to do it all while I got the chance. That's for sure.
You're certainly working on leaving your legacy.
I'm trying.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome, man.
I'm trying. And man, let me tell you, I'm having fun doing it.
Listen, having fun doing anything is important. Having fun doing something where you want to show it to others, because it comes through. You watch things where you're like, this person doesn't like doing this, and it makes a big difference.
Well, I do like doing it, and I like every aspect of it. Like, we haven't even gotten to talk about the other little things. Like I got a new building at the house I'm building. Like, I've always processed in my kitchen, you know what I mean? But now I've got a little spot that's going to be a dedicated processing area. It's like, man, I look as forward to that as I do anything. And it's like, and that's the thing, is I get passionate, and then I take it to the next level, right? I can't do it in my kitchen anymore. Now I got to go out there and do it more like John. I'm just trying to be you. Know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, listen, you've definitely surpassed that already.
It's like, I want to do more. And it's like, I find that's why I love watching what you guys do here, is because the world is so full of stuff to learn. And this age that we live in, with YouTube and podcasts like this,
it's unbelievable.
When I was a kid growing up and learning to play fiddle and play guitar, like, I learned a guitar solo the other day on YouTube from a guy that broke it down and slowed it down for me. It would take me months to do what I did in 2 days because of a YouTube guy that took the months, learned it, then slowed it down for me. And it's like what you guys are doing here, I watch and I learn and I'm like, I want that.
And now all that stuff lives on YouTube as long as YouTube is a format.
Yep.
And however many, even if we do tons of videos that get, 900 views and no more than that, and they stall out and whatever. But if there are 9 people in that 900 views who like learned how to do it, then that's what I wanted to do.
But then they also take it to the next level, right? So those people learn it. Then they, maybe just 1 out of 100 of those people are going to now teach somebody else. And information is exponential, right?
Yep.
So they take it, they add their little thing onto it and make it better and better and better. And that stuff, like you said, this information now is you've learned it, you've done the hard work. This is your life's work, your whole focus of all your energy. And now you've given that gift to these people and it's out there forever. So now they don't have to do the learning you did.
Yep.
They can take it and build on it.
We're all standing on the shoulders of people who came
absolutely
before us. Like all of it. That's what society is.
Anything I just explained and any story I just told you and anything is every one of those things is because someone else laid footsteps for me. Yep. I could go on and on about that. Like there's nothing new under the sun. There's certainly nothing that I'm doing that is in any way innovative. It's all I am is just a guy out there having fun and copying other people for the most part.
Well, you're certainly doing a good job of having fun part.
I am.
All right. Well, that was an awesome conversation, Patrick. I assume we're at 1 hour and 10. Did I nail that?
No, less than 10. Hour and maybe almost 5.
Oh, I was so close.
So close.
I have an internal clock that's gotten a lot better.
Actually, now that we had a false intro, so we're actually take a minute or two off of that. So
okay.
We just had an hour, so.
Okay. My internal clock has gotten so much better at this. Like it used to be like, I have no idea if we're at 20 minutes or,
We used to have a real clock, but it fell off.
Yeah, it fell off because we have so much moisture in here.
I'm sure that most of the people that are listening are like, you guys hardly talked about meat.
Yeah, well.
I talked about eating stuff, I guess.
We talked about eating stuff. We talked about hunting stuff. All of those things are a portion of what we do. Listen, there is no Waltons in its current format without serious hunters out there. Right, like we have a busy season mostly because of hunting season. As soon as it starts going out to the processors,
sure,
we were lucky enough to somehow get. Well, it's not luck. Austin's very smart about this stuff. We started targeting the retail market at the correct time. Right, it wasn't just going to places that did deer processing anymore. It was going directly to the end user. So both of those things. If you drop your deer off at a processor, there's a good chance that you're a Walton's customer and around. If you do it yourself, we hope that you use our stuff, our seasoning, our supplies, or at least our knowledge, whatever. But in some way, hunting's unbelievably central.
Well, and I think that one of the great joys, this is, and I'll be the first to admit that it's something that I started doing more later and later in my hunting career, and I'm getting more and more into every year. Is one of the great joys of hunting is obviously the meat, right? But I've found that one of the great joys is having your hands on it from the kill, all the way to the freezer. Even better is taking it from the freezer and sharing it with people. Like for me to be able to, I've got these guys working in my house right now in that building I was talking about, and I bring out a moose roast and give it to the worker.
Right.
That I had my hands on from beginning to end. What a thrill.
Yeah. The best compliment I've ever gotten was the backstrap I cooked off the first deer I shot. Someone's like, that's the best venison I've ever had. I was like, oh, well, I'm never going to hear anything I liked as much again as that.
And if you're watching this and you've never processed your own deer, I challenge you to just take the back straps and go get a plain old food saver. You don't have to get it from these guys. Maybe you sell a regular food saver. Yeah.
Different types
so like
of them.
get the simplest, cheapest vacuum sealer you can get. Cut those back straps up the way you like them. Make them in two fillet packages. Put them in the freezer and then give them to your friends. Yeah, you won't get as much for you to eat, but I'm telling you, when it feels so good when they call you and they send you a photo of the venison. These are people that don't eat venison, right? You know,
Yep.
and they're sending it to you. There's nothing better. And then it starts there. That's where it started for me. Was I just wanted to give it to some friends,
Okay.
you know, or I wanted to, you know, also I wanted to, you know, but it started with just back straps, just vacuum sealing back straps.
And then what would you do with everything else? Just grind it?
Yeah, I would, or a lot of times I had a couple buddies that would do it. Like
Okay.
I would give it to them, or, you know, there might be a processor down the road or something like that. But, you know, then it just goes from there. Then you buy a grinder. And then
It can get
you know,
expensive. It can, if we're
but
being
that's the
honest.
other, but if you scale it, one little thing
Sure,
every
at a
year,
time,
one
yep,
little
it's
thing, and you
reasonable.
know, and
Yep.
it is reasonable, and it's so much fun. And like you and I talked about when I was sitting there slicing that Wagyu. You grab a beer and you put on some music and you start cutting up and processing and doing these things. It's like meditation for me.
The girl who does our social media here, Sarah, her family gets together and does like all of it
Yeah.
one weekend a year. And it's
Tradition.
just this big thing. Exactly. Which is an awesome thing. Travis Frank's the same way.
Yep.
His family all gets together. I love hearing stuff
See, and
like
I didn't
that.
grow up in a hunting family. I would have
Neither did
killed.
I.
I would have
Yep.
killed for that.
So, yep.
Yeah.
I always wanted to. And my mom would be like, you don't want to shoot Bambi. And I'd be like,
Yeah, I kind of
kinda
do.
Yeah, I kind of do. But so I was just a big fisherman when I
Yep.
was a kid.
And for me, because we didn't grow up in a hunting family, and so I didn't taste venison until I started hanging out with buddies who did hunt, right?
Yeah.
And I ate venison before I ever hunted,
Same.
and which to me made me want to hunt. So I've always been one of those people that's connected it the hunting with the meat.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, it's the opposite. They hunt, then they discover the meat, right? And whatever it is, I just challenge it. I trust me, there's nothing better than dropping it off in a processor and picking it up, you know, 2 weeks later.
That
all
works
done.
too.
That
Yep.
works great. And that's what your thing is, man. But I challenge everybody, just once in your life, do it for yourself. You'll be glad you did. For
Absolutely.
Sure.
That is great advice. We're going to end it on that. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah. Thanks, brother.
Cool.
Appreciate you.
Thanks for checking out the Meatgistics podcast. To shop everything but the meat, head on over to waltons.com. To get your meat processing questions answered by experts and enthusiasts alike, head on over to our online community at meatgistics.com. Waltons, everything but the meat.